At the National Prayer Breakfast this week, Donald Trump promised to totally destroy the Johnson Amendment, one of the many U.S. laws and regulations that protect separation of church and state. The Johnson Amendment was proposed by Lyndon Johnson, hence the name, and quickly passed with very little fanfare through a Republican Congress and a Republican president back in 1954. The amendment prevents tax-exempt organizations from endorsing a particular politician over another, and that includes churches, although churches weren't the original target. Polls show that most Americans don't want their religious leaders to use their pulpits to endorse candidates, but many religious leaders do want that because it works out for them. They get money from the government and they can encourage their dedicated flock to vote for politicians who will continue to funnel government money to them, or for politicians who will continue to erode the separation of church and state in a way that benefits them. That last bit is important, in a way that benefits them, because religious people with a knowledge of history understand that keeping the government out of religion is very beneficial to religious people because it prevents discrimination. The religious right, though, has spent the past few decades trying to tear down our democracy and establish in its place a theocracy in which their religion, evangelical Christianity, is a central tenet of the government in exactly the same way that Islam was made a central tenet of the government of Iran in 1979. The Christian theocrats know that right now they're the top dog, and so when the separation of church and state is destroyed, any state discrimination will be against other religions, not them. But Muslims and Jews and atheists and more intelligent and compassionate Christians know that for a start, we should protect all people, regardless of whether or not they're in the religious majority. And second of all, that today's majority is tomorrow's oppressed minority. Judging from Donald Trump's past statements, I seriously doubt that he's a Christian or has any concept of what the religious right is attempting to do. I think he's being played because he's an idiot. He sees a substantial group of wealthy people who will support him if he says that he's going to destroy separation of church and state. So he says it and he'll do it. He doesn't care about the topics that they care about, like abortion, for instance, but he'll do what they want so that he can keep being president. The religious right is hardly the only group manipulating him, judging by the role of Russia and various political special interests in Trump's election and his first few weeks in office, but they may actually end up causing the most long-term damage. America has enjoyed separation of church and state for a few somewhat rocky centuries. It's literally one of the main reasons why many white people came here in the first place. Destroying the Johnson Amendment won't turn us into present-day Iran, but it may be just the first of many moves to come that are designed to appease the religious right. Trump has only been in office for 2 weeks. Imagine what more he can and will do to advance the goal of turning America into a theocracy. In fact, a document has just leaked showing Trump's plan to allow people and organizations to once again start discriminating against anyone they'd like based on their religious beliefs. Legal experts say that this proposed amendment would exceed the reach of the executive branch and takes a giant shit on the First Amendment. That's a legal term, by the way, a giant shit. So if you're an atheist who's been on the sidelines watching women and people of color and immigrants protesting this administration, get ready. They're coming for the secularists.